Are you tired of serving the same old dips and appetizers for the big game? I have two incredible recipes that are going to knock your socks off for your next football party. Today's video is sponsored by Veal Discover Delicious, which is funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Today I'm cooking ground veal, which I can find pretty easily at my local grocery store. It's kind of in the meat department with the specialty meats like lamb, for example. But if you can't find it there, you can order it online and have it delivered right to your home. I'll link to that in my description box below, veal.org/shop/online. Did you know that a 3-ounce serving of veal has 27 grams of protein? And I love that because by incorporating this veal into my appetizers and dips, it makes it a little bit more filling for my guests. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now let's get ready for the big game. Our first recipe today is a gooey, cheesy lasagna dip. And by incorporating ground veal into the recipe, it gives veal parmesan vibes, but in dip form. I'm starting by browning 1 pound of ground veal in about a tablespoon of olive oil. So I'm going to use half of this for this dip and then the other half for my next recipe. I'm just cooking this in a large nonstick skillet and using a wooden spoon to break it up into really small pieces because you just want little bits of veal in every bite of your dip. I season the beef with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. While the veal browned, I prepped my other ingredients. So this started with an 8-ounce block of mozzarella cheese that I shredded. Next, in a small bowl, I added a 1.5 cups of whole milk ricotta cheese, along with half a teaspoon of dried Italian seasoning, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and about a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. To this, I added 1 egg and then stirred this all together to combine. I also decided to season this with a little bit of salt and pepper and stir that in too. So I removed half of the ground veal, as I mentioned before, for my other recipe, and to this 1/2 pound of browned veal that I seasoned, I added 15 ounces of a jar of marinara sauce. I stirred this together and allowed it to simmer for a couple minutes. Next, I greased my 9-inch glass pie plate and then spread the ricotta mixture evenly all over the bottom. On top of that, I poured the meat sauce. Lastly, I sprinkled the shredded mozzarella cheese all over the top. This bakes at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes or until everything is heated through and the cheese is bubbling and golden. I sprinkled some dried parsley on top just for a little garnish. I prepared some garlic bread on the side for dipping. So this was a loaf of Italian bread that I cut into some smaller pieces. And then I chose to butter this with softened salted butter, sprinkle a little garlic powder on top. On a few of the pieces, I added some shredded Parmesan cheese and the dried parsley too. You could also do a garlic infused olive oil and drizzle that all over your bread. And then I popped it under my broiler just for a couple of minutes. Keep your eye on it because this will toast quickly. This dip really has it all. It's cheesy, meaty, gooey, savory. You have the crunch from your Italian bread, garlic toast, and it's just not something you normally see for football food, but I think everyone is going to love this. Next up, I'm making cheeseburger bites, and these were a huge hit among my entire family. My kids love them, my husband ate several, and I love anything that comes with a good dipping sauce on the side. Who doesn't love a good dip? So here is how you make the cheeseburger bites. This is the other 1/2 pound of the ground veal that I browned with a little bit of salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And to that, I'm adding a tablespoon of mayonnaise and half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then stirring that all together to coat the meat. Then on my work surface, I'm sprinkling just a little bit of flour, and I popped open a can of 8 buttermilk biscuits, just from the refrigerator section at the grocery store. And then I floured my rolling pin and flattened these out a little bit just until they were about 5 inches across. Next, I took a slice of yellow American cheese and divided it into quarters, and I took one of those little pieces and placed it right in the middle of the biscuit dough. Then I took 2 spoonfuls of the meat mixture and put it right on top of that cheese in the center. And then I pinched all the edges together until they were sealed shut, kind of like a little bun or dumpling. And then I placed that onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Then I repeated that process with the remaining ingredients until I had 8 cheeseburger bites. And of course, you could double or triple this recipe to feed a crowd. Next, I whisked 1 egg in a small bowl, and with a silicone pastry brush, I brushed the tops of each of these little cheeseburger bites with the egg. And then on top of that, I sprinkled some white sesame seeds. These bake at 350 degrees for about 18 to 20 minutes until the tops of the biscuits are golden brown. I love the combination of the fluffy biscuits with the savory ground veal mixture, the gooey, warm, melty American cheese, but I thought it needed a dipping sauce too on the side. So I mixed together some mayonnaise, ketchup, sweet pickle relish, and a little bit of garlic powder, and it was the perfect complement to these cheeseburger bites. Thank you so much to Veal Discover Delicious, which is funded by Beef Farmers and Ranchers, for sponsoring today's video. And thank you for joining me here today in my kitchen. See you again soon.